Hello, everyone. This time we are here to continue working on our methods or approaches to the teaching of foreign languages to children. And the first method that we came up with was the TPR, total physical response. You may remember that total physical response aimed is to basically develop language naturally through the use of mostly commands. And one of the disadvantages of the TPR method is that um, the language contents it's limited sometimes to imperatives area, so to the imperatives mode. Um, so the new method or approach, because this is an approach that we are going to talk about today, is CLT. CLT stands for communicative language teaching, which we made. So communicative language teaching, it's the communicative approach that we all have known for years. It developed in the 80s, 1980s, and it developed as a response to the audiolingual method, in which was developed by the U.S. Army. But basically, the audiolingual method dedicated most of the time to the development of listening skills and to make repetitions and memorizations of phrases and sentences that may be sometimes out of context, which may help a lot to develop good pronunciation and maybe to use this sentence in another context, but it was not 100% sure that the speakers will use it. So as a response to this method, to the audiolingual method, developed the communicative approach, and it's called an approach, not a method that you may know the differences, okay, because it focuses on the four components of language, or five components of language, which is developing the listening, the speaking skills, reading, writing, and also monologues and imagining. So the activities related to communicative language teaching that we have to study in for this semester, um, basically students are encouraged to build meaning, to construct meaning, because the main goal of the communicative approach, therefore the communicative language teaching, is to help students to construct meaning uh, between the interaction with other students, which means activities must be guided but not conducted, such as unlike the TPR. So when we develop activities related to communicative language teaching, we focus mostly on the student. So this is a learner-centered approach, obviously. So the techniques, the curriculum must allow students creativity, innovation, and of course, opportunities to communicate with their peers to develop competence. And developing of competence in not only in listening, understanding, or speaking, but also in reading and writing, which is something that we neglect a lot when we are teaching children, or sometimes we focus too much on writing and reading when teaching children, and we need to have a balance. So remember a balance. Remember that when we are learning our own language, naturally we develop the four skills at the same time: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So within this approach, we also um, develop some methods, okay? Methods such as the cooperative and collaborative learning, the interactive learner or interaction learning, and there are many other, like whole language education. The whole language education um, includes that uh, you learn by participating, um, using in one lesson. Students or children should learn in one or three, four, five lessons, um, embracing one theme, one big theme, one big topic. So students must or should learn what the whole languages implies, which is um, which is the sum of the addition of many factors, such as using the language because they need to use it. So our activities should be um, based on the need of communication. So this is the key concept of communicative. You have to communicate because you need to do something, you need something, you need to ask something, you need something from someone, the need of the language. So the communicative language teaching so involves many methods, such as the whole language approach, whole language education, the collaborative and cooperative learning, then the content-based instruction, the CBI. The content-based instruction is a very useful method, particularly for primary schools, in which the language is an excuse. Teaching English, teaching French, or teaching is an excuse to reinforce what children have been learning in their regular school, in the regular subjects. For example, if you have, like, let's see, the planets, yes, so you can teach them the universe or the planets in English or in French, whatever. You can use stories, stories, to teach them stories in English, in French, or in the language that you are focusing on. Another method used in communicative language teaching is the task-based instruction. The task is based on one task or one project. So this project is going to be developed and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So, but always, 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 the main goal is to use the language because they need it. They need to use the language. So previous knowledge based on Ausbild's psychology is also used. So this is it, basically, what the communicative language teaching is about. And of course, integrating skills and contextualized language instruction is part of. It's like the language cannot be taught or learned isolated. So we need to develop activities based on that. You can go ahead and read Unit 2 from our course book, a handbook of theory and practice for the teaching of English to young learners and very young learners. And then I think you might be ready now. If you have further questions, do not hesitate to ask in our Google Classroom, and do not hesitate to ask in in our, just post your question there. You have the ability to do it, because I'll be sending by Friday the guidelines for the first assignment, which is going to be with an average, okay, with a 20% average of the evaluation, which is going to be the essay. All right, well, have a great day, and I hope you have a little bit understood what the other main approach and the methods within we use to teach children. There's missing like the new trends that I will go with that video next class. Bye bye.